Introducing you now, Marci Lock. This podcast has blown my mind. I've never met anyone who's transmitting an energy like she is. And if any of you are at a stage in life where you're wanting to create a new future and open yourself up to something new and a different way of thinking, then I think Marci's going to introduce something that's going to maybe be the stepping stone for you in moving forward in your life. Let me welcome in Marci Lock. This is another awesome podcast. Today we've got Marci Lock, who is a mentor, an author, a speaker, and most importantly, what I want to know, she is the Alchemist of Light. I'm unsure what that is, but I can't wait to find out. But here she is, long awaited and overdue. Hey, Marci.
Hi, beloved. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
So fabulous. Thank you. So happy to be with you.
I've been waiting for some reason. I don't ever, and I know this is probably unprofessional, but I don't check people out because I want to be raw, yeah?
Yeah.
Something about you, and I'll tell you where it is. We've been texting and blah, blah. You use some cracking words that really get into my soul.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm so happy the New Earth language gets to come through. If somebody doesn't do it, who's going to do it? So yeah, that's great.
I'm the receptor of it, and you say stuff, and I think, I'll be honest, I've probably stolen some of it, and used it on someone else.
There is no stealing. It's all source, and your source too. So, awesome if it resonates for you and you get to speak it out as well.
Awesome. Go on. Can you, so the first thing I saw when I checked you on your Facebook is you are the Alchemist of Light. Will you tell me and everyone else, what is that?
Yeah, beautiful. Well, we're all alchemists. That's what we're really here to be. We all have an inner alchemist. And if you're not familiar with the term alchemist is someone who transmutes. It's a magician who plays with energy and can change things. So in the past tribal times, etc., it's like the alchemist was known as the one who could take dirt and transmute it into gold. So really, our opportunity here as God consciousness, divine consciousness, source consciousness, here to have a holy human journey experience, is to witness everything we chose to experience, anything that is not in resonance with our divinity, our highest vibration of who we're here to be. Again, enlightenment is to be in light, is there for us to transmute the energy, the stories, the ideas, the programs, the patterns, the behaviors, and alchemize them to, so it's like I do this because I see it as like, all the stuck energy, this lower vibrational density and these stuck appendage points in our rainbow bodies and all these things that we get to actually unravel and unwind and allow ourselves to play with, because we're just here to play and practice into new ways of being human, to play and alchemize them into like, oh, this is what's really true. And that was just a story, an experience. I played with frequency, an idea, program, a pattern. It's not who you are, because you are God consciousness, source conscious. You are already perfect and whole and came with this blueprint. You just chose to play with that story and have that experience. So as you alchemize it, we transmute the energy of it to a high vibration, a light. So yes, I believe, it's really what I'm here to do is teach people how to alchemize the fuck out of everything, right? Is to be able to come to that remembrance of our highest, greatest joy and bliss and pleasure and how much we can experience by shedding and alchemizing the things that are not in alignment with our highest vibration of our divinity. That's
wow. Oh my God. That was unbelievable. You just busted that out like a rhyme. That was superb. I have read The Alchemist. No, I haven't. No, I've never read it. So I audiobook like mad. I do it every morning. It's part of my own progression. So about 3 years ago, The Alchemist, it wasn't in my normal kind of self-help kind of thing. I was a bit of a self-help junkie and always, so it was something different. Yeah. It just blew my mind. In audio format, I was left with this. It's a story, not like your general kind of self-help. There's something hidden within the meaning. It blew I tell you how much it blew my mind. I stopped listening to books because I wanted to find one that took me there, and nothing got me there. It was just like, wow. Have you read it?
Yes, I have. Many, many, many years ago. Who is John Galt, right? Like there's the phrase that people go, oh, okay, you've read The Alchemist. Here's an upgrade for you. Even when we speak into, it blew my mind. We're literally saying my mind can only handle so much, and that I can only go this far. So again, when we recognize that, again, our words are even alchemy, we're spelling spells into reality. We're spelling, right? And so it blew my mind. Instead, wow, that expanded my mind. That's why you saw me kind of transmute that into like, it expanded your mind, it expanded your heart, it expanded your soul into like, wow, infinite possibilities that are available. So yeah, there's so much that we have available to us that we just get to continue to play into to allow us to receive even greater. So I'm so happy that came into your world and expanded your infinite possibilities.
You are like a little light. I love it. You're vibrant. You're just sending me off. But you just highlighted a lot of things that I work with people. People set their own boundaries and said, I can only go this far. And the only person who set it was the person who set it inside themselves. And once you start releasing the gates, moving the boundaries further, they find that they can go a bit further. And it's the most amazing thing.
Yeah. And you know how we can do that so simply is we just tune into energy, because energy is all things. Energy is a part of everything. And so I make it really simple. And it's like, look at the energy. Is it contraction or is it expansion? And so it's like lies will feel heavy and limit you, but truth feels light when it sets you free. So even if you just catch a story and be like, let me tune into that. How does it feel to believe that? What do I feel in my body? I feel a contraction, a limitation. That's where I'm choosing my own suffering. So yeah, can I get curious about other infinite possibilities of this story and what else is available? And then it like allows us to again dissolve and alchemize into something that's even greater. Yeah, so available in everything that we do.
Awesome. And everyone's got the same availability, but some people believe that other people are maybe blessed or have got some way of getting it, but they're only willing to take themselves a bit further and allow a path forward to go. Because a lot of people stay grounded because they believe there's something that they're not, and they put themselves. We're all human beings, born the same energy. Some have got more energy. You're like this. I can just find them, and I was getting it through your messages. There was something about today because we've missed it. We've had you've had a bit of a whirlwind. Something happened.
I flow with the energy of life and what is here for me and where it takes me. And I think when you first asked my team, I was like in the middle of, I channel galactics and light language and all sorts of aliens and ascended masters and angels. That's just the level I'm at right now that I'm experiencing. And I have divine assignments. And one of them was to do this online event of Embodied Empire led by Spirit, which was to raise a lot of funds for a lot of philanthropy projects and projects to help people at this time. So I think you had messaged my team during that. And then, I don't know, there's so many things that happen. And so we're here now, in divine assignment.
Well, I always think, I've said this, you used it in your text this morning. I text you at the same time and you said, you remember what the words were? I call it universal gateways. That you suddenly think, I haven't had that link. I send you the link. You and I were crossing energy.
I just was like, ooh, do I have that link? Did he send it to me on WhatsApp? And I looked and it wasn't there. And then so I pulled up the Facebook that you were communicating with my team on. And I literally had just pulled it up to look. And then you said, hey, Marci, here's the link. And I was like, I'm looking for that. Divine timing, divine order. We're that powerful the moment we put our focus on something. And this is the thing. When you are vibrating at a high frequency, everything that you put your focus on instantly manifests because you're the frequency of I'm fulfilled, I'm satisfied. Now, bullshit surface self-empowerment teaches the opposite. It teaches to come from a place of wanting, lack, I don't have it, it's outside of me, I need this, let me just focus on the affirmation, the thought, let me visualize the thing, and it's coming from I don't have that, and it's coming from something within your system doesn't believe, or you'd have it already. So we're actually all powerful manifestors that are already aligned to exactly what we're experiencing. So I always say results don't lie, right? Because whatever result you're having is a reflection back to you of what's vibrating, what you're manifesting. You're always going to manifest what you vibrate. So the truth is you're already a fucking amazing manifesting genius. You just get to get with what you really want to do. Yeah, and so this surface stuff for people, their systems, what's in their body. Again, if I've experienced all these things that I have a core belief that I'm not worthy, and I can be all day long, I'm so worthy, I'm so excited, I love receiving, da 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 da, and your body's like, fuck you, you are not. So there's these tricks and tools and tips to come into alignment. I am speaking a spell into reality of what I can believe, that my body can believe, and I get to go through the healing and transmuting trauma and the things versus kind of just like it's spiritual bypass. It's like if someone goes and they're distracted with food, sex, drugs, whatever. We do the same thing in the self-empowerment world by let me distract and let me just say an affirmation. let me try to put my focus on something positive. But we're like doing this and running from the actual thing that's saying, hey, pay attention inside now, pain, pay attention inside now, and look at what's wanting presence, that is telling me what within my system is wanting to be revealed and healed and loved, that it can be transmuted, that I actually have that open space and that capacity and that higher frequency, that I am in alignment to manifest the thing that I therefore want. So whatever is right in front of you is always the purpose of receiving what you actually really want. But most people are like, no, I'm not going to pay attention to what's right here. This trigger. No, I just want to focus on money. What's the system and support the business that I get to do? And it's ignoring, life is saying, hey, until you clean this shit up right in front of you with your relationship, with whatever you're in energy of resisting, this is the thing that is telling you require the next step to receive the abundance, the connection, the intimacy, whatever it is that you're wanting to create. So I get so much in I won't just say spiritual world, because I mean, I did coach people at the $1 million level and some of the biggest businesses in the world and high level leaders. And they were very much like, how do I 4 times my business? And I'm like, beloved, let's just go here. Let's align what's happening internally, and all aspects of your life tend to do that. So it's not just the spiritual world, but it's most people are like looking for how they, get the abundance, or they get something else, and they ask, well, what's my purpose? How do I know my purpose? All the time. And I'm like, it's easy. You are your fucking purpose. Like here to discover your unapologetic expression of you and your gifts and all that you are. So hence every single life experience, everything popping up is a witness and reflection for you of what gets to be healed and loved. Because again, think about our messes in life, they become our message. Your core wounds are designed from your core strengths. So, and this, just like being in this world, we look at everyone who's ever, allowed themselves to move through those things and offer their gifts. What did it come from? It came from their journey. It came from their
I love it.
So you are therefore your purpose. Cha-ching.
Wow, bloody hell, you absolutely just blown my mind. I just love your energy as you pop it out there.
Wow.
Because it makes me think, like, people often ask, so people new to the thing of vibrating, I see it a lot when, like, for instance, when I met my partner, I was very quick out of my last relationship, and I didn't mean to meet her, but she was vibrating exactly the same. We went on this date, so we'd had a bit of a text crack. I did some, like, won her over with a mouse that was caught, which she says didn't work, but clearly did, because I'm here now with her. So, but we go on this date, and whatever and the changes I'd made in my mind that I'd been vibrating, I was matched exactly to the same. And we met each other, and it's been immense, ever since, going on. But you get that people leave relationships, like, in my age, we're getting a lot of divorcees now. It's kind of a standard kind of divorcee kind of age, and people are coming out, and some are not finding what they want, because I don't believe they know what they were looking for, so they're not putting it out there, and it's waiting for that to come back in. Where some leave that relationship, the things have let them down, putting it out, and it attracts straight to them, and they have this amazing life because they decided that they wanted to have it. They wrote the story, what they wanted, and it came, and it was everything, and it blessed them.
You got to align to that. You can't just say, I want this amazing relationship, but I'm still going to keep the same behaviors and patterns that are codependency or, lack of love, or I'm not worthy. I won't even give myself self-worth. And then I think I'm going to attract a partner that's going to show me my worth. It's like, that's all the stuff we get to witness, and we get to heal and align, because truly, like, you can only receive as much love from someone else as you're willing to give yourself, and vice versa. So a common one, let's say for someone maybe on the beginning of the path, is like, as I share something like that, they're like, no, how can that be true? Because I give way more love to my partner and my kids, and I put myself last, etc. And I'm like, all right, beloved, let's look at this. First off, what level of love are you actually giving out when you're in, I should do this so they love me, I have to do this so it's enough, I need to do this so that I have approval? You're giving a really shitty ass low vibration of love. It's a transaction. These are just the words that come from me. Spiritual is also,
Let me just say, someone's
an unapologetic expression of whatever comes through. I have to. So when we look at it, we're like, wow, I actually am giving a transactional love, a conditional love, which is what we've been taught, versus unconditional love. So it's when I take care of myself, like back in the day, way back in the day when I, because I was a nutrition, fitness, mindset expert on TV, and I ran a 90-day mind body transformation program. That was kind of like my first phase.
When was that?
When are we talking?
I don't live in time. My sister and I'm always like, that was forever ago. And she's like, that was like 2 years ago or 5 years ago. Because I've transcended through so many lifetime purposes already, because we can quantum leap the more we're willing to lean in. I would say, I'm guessing maybe 12 years ago. My assistant's been by my side for like 12 years. She went through my third program of that mind body transformation. So yeah, like in that phase and that stage, you know, as I was, that's all I was really aware of. Then it was the mindset, which the mindset is, like I say, surface self-empowerment. It's like one little, I attune it to, it's like if you could just have your pinky finger was the only thing you could use out of your entire body. It's like, what can you do? there's a few things you can do with that, but it's not a lot. And when you begin to attune to all of our system, again, the next level for me was connecting to the emotions and recognizing how every single emotion is an energy that is in our bodies. Anything that's showing up in our body, disease is out of ease with life, is showing us what emotional program, connection, trauma, etc. is stuck in our bodies, and how to work with that. And then I went into, let's see. So yes, that was like, I don't know how many years ago, but then I was the ultimate life catalyst. Then I was the fuck yes life mentor. Then I was the $1 million mentor.
What do you say? Then the fuck yes
life mentor. And it was when I was really learning to attune that every aspect of my life got to be a fuck yes, every part of my human experience. And I didn't believe in this either or game we get taught, which is like, I can either have the relationships or I can have the business or career, etc. It's like, that's a program. Instead, we get to live in and. I can have this and this and this and this, because if I'm God consciousness and I'm divinity, like it would just be a story to think that I can have, you know, anything less. And so that's one of the greatest lies we buy into is the separation from ourself as divinity and the separation from each other. So from there, I went on to being the $1 million mentor, because I coach clients at $1 million level and the biggest businesses in the world. And then now I'm a spiritual teacher. I mean, right? Like it just like, that's the evolution we get to go through. So I'm not sure of where we were going with that, but that's a little bit.
I never have anywhere I'm going, to be honest. But
we'll bring it back or whatever comes through. It's all perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't set boundaries on yourself, so you don't have anywhere that you're pulling yourself from going, so you can go wherever you want. You've learned to not set boundaries, but someone's just said something like a guy called Bassi who's supported my journey just says this: Marci is like a silky dark chocolate. Other chocolates can be enjoyed at any time without thinking. But real dark chocolate needs some quiet time, candlelight, a glass of red wine, and concentration.
Believe me, there is. I would say I, of course, have boundaries. I have boundaries that are aligned to supporting my divinity. But you know, it's like, and I don't choose labels or attachments or expectations or programs that could limit me in any way, because I'm infinite. And as much as I'm high energy, because I'm literally connected to universal life force energy and flow. I am connected to source, and all the channels are open to just like, yeah, that's why we'll go wherever. And it doesn't mean that I don't also have my, you know, I mean, life is a lovership for me. Like I'm like my greatest love story. I'm my greatest adventure. I am, you know, a luscious love with myself and with all of life. So of course there's like sensuality and the softness and the playtime, and we're all displaying different aspects of our, you know, this is why this lights me the fuck up, because I'm here to, just like you know, this is like, like I'm in full resonance with what I'm here to do and be, and that it can be easy. See, there's plenty of energy. We all have all the energy within ourselves that we require. Where that energy goes is when we're in shitty relationships or tolerating or settling or sacrificing. We're drained. That's why it's like a challenge for people that are feeling this contraction energy and this heavy energy to you know, feel amazing. And that's the what I like to teach is the little steps that people take in aligning their lives, alchemizing things that, I can feel greater and brighter. And if we're willing to go into the depths of our dark, our pain, even what you would call shadow, which is really just different frequency. And the more we're willing to go there, the more we can go higher with the bliss and the play and the pleasure and the passion and the abundance. But if we only want to stay in this comfort zone, again, that's that we're just speaking to, like, this is all uncomfortable with. So
I'm only just recently, I've lived a life without fear, thinking I didn't. and my comfort zone was setting, and everyone else would look at me and think I didn't have a comfort zone, but I had one, and I'm now getting into smashing it. Doing a few of the things I'm doing is about stretching your boundaries, because I'm not sick of this, because I don't mean it as like that, but I meet people all the time and they say they're retiring. I go, oh God, you must have loved your job. I hated every week of it, and they were there for 44 years, and I think, oh no. Because everyone I meet, for instance, I read someone recently lost his job and he was gutted at the time. And then I see him last week cycling. He says, you get a new job? Yeah. Double the pay that he was on before, a job that he went to uni for. And I went, you thought when you lost your job, it was a problem. I knew it was the beginning of something better, but you hadn't realized it. And then when he allowed it, it happened. And I think all our, every misfortune is a rewrite for you to get what you want. That's what I think. So, and that's how I look at any misfortune that happens. It's happening. I've got a bit of misfortune after this. I've got a horrendous day. I'm not going to go into of sorting for misfortune, but it's part of my pattern of where I'm going. So you have to clear off the rough ends, and you have to move on. And all the rough ends are a bit rubbish, and you don't really enjoy it, but you've got to go into it with the same kind of enthusiasm.
So what if there was a way to make it fun and easy and make it blissful and joyful? Again, because when we have this even decision that life means I've got to do these certain things that I'm not going to love or I'm not going to enjoy, that's also telling ourselves a story. I have to tolerate with certain things. It's got to be a certain level. When we align to, again, like I mean, it's been so many years. I don't know how to use PayPal or book my own hotel or flights, because I've had people do that for me for so long that there's an aspect of me saying I'm worthy of staying in my genius and getting support of those other things. So there's always a question to be had if it's like telling ourselves a story of, it's like, well, if you're continuing to do the same behaviors that says this is just what it has to look like for me to succeed in business, I mean, I teach embodied empire led by spirit, where it's, again, creating $1 million clients or anything of a higher level vibration was like way less work, way less effort, and yet a much massive more return, because I'm coming from flow and ease, and I'm worthy of that. So if I keep saying, well, someday when I build this aspect of my business, then I'll have free time, that's pretty much the entrepreneurial trap and loop.
Yeah, I hear that too much. It's
like,
too much.
You destroy your relationships. Instead of
kids. No parenting, no enjoyment of your kids, and you do all this for what? For cash. What does cash get? Nothing. Right. Love is infinity of cash. It's infinity. It lasts forever. It'll flow forever, and it'll keep paying you back, and it makes you feel good.
So
let me tell you this. I'm doing this today. This week, I'm doing a podcast with my son. So he's coming on to this. My son's 21. I'm doing amazing in business. He is supersonic to the point. I coach, and I thought, I've been coaching him his whole life. I got chatting to him the other day, and he starts telling me about some some mindset practices doing himself. And I was like, wow, he's coming on. So it's going to be like, I've been like, it's my proudest moment, I think.
It's so great.
He's very professional, and I'm not as professional as him, so I'll have to maybe be a bit more professional, because he'll be using it in his professional circle. Or you be
fully you, and he's fully him. That's the beauty of parenting. Like my oldest is now 18. My youngest is 14. They spent years on stage with me, podcasts with me, traveled the world, were in retreats, did medicine with me, all these things. And it's beautiful to witness, again, how we get to honor each person as I see my kids as my greatest growth partners. They're not mine to teach. They're literally my growth partner, and to honor their expression, their divinity, what they choose, and etc. It's a completely new world of conscious relationship. And I believe the only job I have in conscious relationship is to be a field of unconditional love, support, and acceptance. That's it. Like,
what's your oldest called, and what they're doing? What's your oldest?
My Super Sky guy is his nickname for it's Super Sky, which is my oldest name is Skylar, and my youngest his nickname was Gavin the Great. We created these superhero names when they were little. We're all superheroes and have superpowers. So right now they were with me full time until about 4 years ago, when my oldest actually went down to the jungles in Colombia with me after I had a retreat and took people through the medicine work and different things that we were doing. He flew over, we traveled all over Colombia, and then he and I went back down to the jungle and did grandmother abuelita ayahuasca together. And
kidding.
My kids were 9 and 12 the first time they went to the jungles with me and experienced that.
Wow.
And then came back and with me this, this other time. And in that, his intention was to fully love himself and to express himself fully and to not ever care about bullies again. Now, being on the conscious journey with them from the young age, I taught them like, if people are mean, it's just a reflection of what they don't love about themselves.
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
And so they were always very
mirroring.
Expressed, and they always dealt with bullies. And he came out of that ceremony and that experience, and he just literally he just did not give a fuck about bullies anymore. And he just was so fully expressed. Awesome. He dyed his hair green. He taught the kids in the schools in Colombia how to love themselves and just how to express themselves. So he came back and started his own YouTube channel.
Did it? What's it called?
It's changed. I'll have to see what it is now. But he started his own YouTube channel. And
will you send me the link? I'm mega interested.
Yeah.
I've got a tiny YouTube, but I'm interested in people's journey when they're like, my son's blessed because from being young, I've given him the energy that I always wish that I'd had. And your kids are clearly getting you, which is like, woohoo! It's like the sun.
This is the beauty of it, is that it's just like when we go down this journey and we want our parents to accept us for who we are. But we're actually not accepting them for who they are by staying in their same beliefs and their same experience and honoring their journey. And that's exactly what they're here to experience. And so it's like, even being, like you saying, oh, it's the proudest moment, my son is doing this. It's like, if they completely shift and change, can I honor and love that they're here to experience whatever they want to experience? So when Sky had done this, what he noticed was his dad and the family I was raised Mormon, LDS, like a very strict religion.
What's LDS? I don't know what LDS is.
I mean, it's the same thing as a Mormon, but they call it Latin.
Mormon. I know the Mormon religion. Yeah, I know that.
Same thing.
Are you from? I don't know. Is your nationality
American?
Okay,
yeah,
right.
Born and raised in Utah, and then I moved with my kids when they were, Sky was 9 when we moved, or 8 or 9 when we moved to California. It was the next level of me creating a different life. And so then they lived with me in California full time. And they were with me full time since they were 1 and 4. When I was when they were just 1 and 4 was when I found out my former. I call my former because, again, he's my beloved. He's still like, I don't say ex because, again, the energy I would give.
Honestly, I'm exactly the same, and I've stopped using the term ex-wife because she's my kids' mom and this is my family, and I absolutely love her.
She was a perfect partner for exactly what you're experiencing.
Where I'm at now, she actually works in the building where I'm in, like one of my commercial things. She works here, and I see her, and I love it, and we co-parent, and we have great, I've got a dog this weekend. I can't wait for him to come.
See, so it's amazing what is still available for us. And again, you got to probably dissolve the stories of divorce and what it has to look like, when it really was just like the perfect experience and evolving to another level of partnership. So, anyways,
just say that again. Another level of partnership. I've never thought of it like that. That's it. Because I find it hard. People struggle to understand that me and Sarah get on so well and we support each other. Because people aren't used to be looking outside of their own box because they think this is how you should be. And what you're saying is, and what I say as a person is, be the person you want to be. And then everything else will come around it. And you're right. I love that. But you say it better. Thanks.
You get to be the example of what relationship gets to be like. So even with the experience with my former, because again, my boys were just 1 and 4 years old when I found out he had cheated. I became a single mom. I became a waitress making $2 an hour. And that's the journey. That's really where the journey started with me and my boys, of me like being like, this whole idea of like this set religion and terms and I could see my life of suffering. I grew up on a farm where we had to grow our own food to survive. I had stalkers, favoritisms, kidnappers, abuse, you name it. Almost every trauma you can imagine is what I experienced. And even when they did a documentary of my life, they're like, this is just too much trauma. Nobody will believe this. And it's like, that's obviously what I chose to be who I am now, to experience all this. Again, I don't see anything as anything other than beauty, divinity, love, light, like the perfect experiences we chose. And so, that's where kind of it began with, like, having my former, we got divorced, and my boys kind of went on this conscious journey with me. And so awesome. Here we are at 14 years old. When my son was 14, when we came back from the jungles, and he started his YouTube channel. And what he noticed was, as he was expressing himself on his YouTube channel, that he felt then he was kind of getting a backlash from his dad and, family that had certain beliefs, was like, that's not okay. And so he started to feel this resistance, and like he had to suppress himself. And so I could feel that there was this like curiosity in his system and energy. And I surprised him with we always had like our specific date nights all week long, which is another beautiful relationship tool. And I showed up at his school and surprised him and took him to lunch and was just like, babes, I feel like there's something going on energetically, or, what are you feeling? What's going on? And he shared with me that he was really feeling like he had to, again, hide himself and suppress himself. And he's like, Mom, I feel like I'm meant to go live there and face it and see what really resonates for me and stand in my truth. And again, at 14 years old, I'm witnessing this beautiful divine being in front of me. How could I ever? I mean, years before where I was at, I would have been like, fuck no, you are like, I would have done anything to keep him out of that environment.
Yeah. I get it.
They'd be thrown into this normal consciousness type experience. And everything in me wanted to provide them with, the view and the possibilities and the consciousness to follow their hearts and do whatever they desired. And yet this is what his soul was calling for. So who would I ever to deny him of that? So it was a huge even step for me to witness how I was like, babes, if that's where you feel called to go, I'm only here to, again, unconditional love, support, and acceptance. I'm here to support you. And so we moved him out to Utah, and this was when he was 14. And then I knew even then I was like, what about your little brother? Because they've been partners in so many lifetimes in so many ways. And he was like, he can't go. He will be pulled into this idea of what it has to be in church and all these things. He's like, he's just going to get eaten up. He's like, I feel like I've just got to go. And I was like, all right, well, we'll honor that. And my little Gavin the Great was like, no, I want to stay here and be here with you, Mom. But I had this feeling like, almost like a knowing I have about 6 months with him to prepare him, that he would want to be with his brother. And about 6 months later, I could just feel his heart yearning to be with his brother. And I was like, do you want to go be with your brother? Like, it's totally okay if you do. And he's like, no, Mom, I want to stay here with you. But I could feel his heart. And I was like, sweetie, we can make it easy and graceful, and you can go experience that, and you can experience living with your dad for the first time. That was a huge monument for even me, because the past would have done anything to have them like by my side. And so it's, again, can we let go of our own attachments and expectations and stories and release that and let it go? So they've been in Utah since. Skylar got a girlfriend. He's had a girlfriend for like 3 years.
I bet you he's a bit of a, I think if you teach kids to see things differently, they transmit an energy that everyone wants, because everyone's the same and experiencing the same life. And you get the odd person who has something different. You're like, wow, what's this about?
Yeah.
I was feeling that when I was saying it. I bet the chick's absolutely, whatever. I didn't know what his sexuality was, and whatever it was, I imagine which one he wanted. All love him.
Yeah, well, he was very, they're both very attuned to energy. And so, once he met his girlfriend, I was kind of like, I told him, I'm like, there's no attachments for me. Like, they were like, well, just for a year. And I'm like, babes, honor whatever feels good for you. And so once he had his girlfriend, I was like, he's probably going to want to stay in Utah. But what was interesting is at the time, because I was coaching people at $1 million level, I had high level masterminds at like 50,000 a person. And I was starting to get the message to no more, like, don't fill any more masterminds, let the masterminds go, fulfill my contracts with my personal clients, don't take on any more personal clients. And that was like shedding and releasing. Here I was asked to let go of my kids. And then I was in India, and coming back, it was like, let go of the Magical Manifestation Mansion. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures, because you haven't done much.
I've not checked you, but I always check people afterwards. After we've chatted, then because I don't want to see something, and I like it. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I do it anyway.
It's
so I'm going to check you out after this thing. I'll be going YouTube, books.
Yeah, but I got asked to I was being asked to shed everything that I had any attachment to, any identity around. So again, any business stuff, everything. And I was being told to go global. And this is when I became a global citizen. And the message that came through for me was like, it's time to go alone. And I was like, why would I need to go alone? I love my alone time. I'm totally cool with being alone. And there was something inside me. I mean, I'd done retreats all over the world, yet I always had, a team there to support me, et cetera. It's like, go do my thing, travel, play, go with my kids, come back. Right. And it was like, I was being asked to let everything go and just follow spirit to what's like moment by moment, living by the divine feminine, living how we're meant to, how we're designed to operate, which is creation happens moment by moment. When we follow spirit, we can only take the next step, and then the next one evolves, the next one evolves. And so it was a whole other kind of game. It was almost like I achieved everything everyone strives for, with the financial success and the magical mansion in California and blah, 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 all the things, $1 million clients. And it's like, can you let it all go? And can you love yourself without any attachment to anything? and let go of all the things. And this was actually a completion of another life purpose. So I had a whole new hara come in, whole new guides, new message, and again, becoming a spiritual teacher was like leading me towards that. And I was asked to just go all over the world, moment by moment, wherever I was called. And I was always called into like the craziest shit happening in the world, when like fires were happening and, like, what are they called? Just all these crazy storms and all sorts of things happening.
Yeah, there's
and
like,
I
know the one.
I'm like, why the fuck would I be called here? And it's like, oh, you're called here to cleanse the energy, to bring in the codes. I was asked to teach in ashrams and caves and, in India and all over the world, just like offer teachings, and basically told I couldn't offer retreats or other things that would bring in a lot of income. And I still had a huge team to cover. I still had all these philanthropy projects that I always cover. And it was just this surrender experiment of following that and letting the universe show me how abundance is always provided in all the ways. And that's when, by doing these things I was called to serve in, that's when I got my spiritual name, Sundari or Sundari.
I'm glad you got that. That's one of my questions. What's Sundari?
Well, it was given to me by an enlightened master in India that I was with, and it's my soul's name. And Sundari in Sanskrit, I say Sundari because that's actually how it's spelled, and it's easier for people, and I relate to the sun and the codes of Amun-Ra and the light and being an alchemist of light, but it means divine beauty, universal beauty. And the moment this enlightened master gave me this name, I just bawled because he's like, this is your soul's name. And I just started bawling because I recognized my whole life I had fought beauty. I literally had bipolar beliefs, right? Because we're all in a dual human world where it was like one aspect was it's not safe to be beautiful. I had, again, rape attempts, kidnappers from a very
sad, isn't it? It's horrible that. I hate that. That's the perspective of life. Sadly, it's true. I've got a daughter who's just going to hit that. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's 12 and she's like, I'm having to teach her about the bad points of life because they're true and I'm not hiding them from her.
Well, it's learning to, again, align to whatever we believe we're going to create. So again, I had absolute fear of the world and these things, which is exactly why I attracted all these experiences. But so I had one system that said it's not safe to be beautiful. And the other part of me believed I'm not beautiful. Like from a young age, being, I was the freckles, the white skin. I mean, all the stuff that I love about myself now.
Ava's got freckles and I love them. She's gorgeous with them. She's son, freckles. Right. She looks amazing. I love freckles. They're the most amazing thing.
But I believe like freckles were ugly and white skin was ugly and red hair was. So I had these beliefs that first off, I wasn't beautiful and it was also not safe to be beautiful. So it's like I'd fought beauty my whole life. So again, my soul's calling was to come into full love and acceptance with myself, which the only way when you do that for yourself is how you can hold it for someone else. That's why even let's say parenting, where a child is having emotion and a tantrum and doing anything that makes us uncomfortable, it's if we can't hold the field or the capacity for them to express themselves, to have emotion, to have these authentic conversations, if we haven't given it to ourselves. So it's always a reflection of that. And so it really hit me that my message truly is, because I've been through a massive array of what people would call trauma and experiences, and I see it all as fucking beautiful. Because every single thing was for me, was, what I designed by my highest self. Every moment was, I see every moment in life as a sacred interaction, a sacred designed for me. Like we are a sacred ritual. Like life is a ritual. I'm going moment by moment by all these things that my highest self designed that I wanted to learn and experience. So how could I call that anything other than beautiful? So even like I said, the shadow, the dark, the light, all of it is beautiful. And so it really encompassed my message is divine beauty, universal beauty. It's all beautiful. That's how we come into the wholeness, the allness with ourselves as well as with everyone else.
Do you know what you keep every time you say beautiful, that thing that is beautiful. That is absolutely, Julie would absolutely love that beyond belief. She would be like blown out of the water. That isn't. Where's that? What's any?
This is Isis. This is the symbol of Isis, which Isis is one of the goddesses. Isis and Osiris actually reflect divine union, harmonization of the feminine and masculine. Isis was, the whole story of Isis. She's just a goddess that brings forth divine feminine. She is so many things. You could definitely, I'd say, look her up if you're drawn to her. But also,
what's it? Because I'm dyslexic. How do you spell it?
I-S-I-S. I-S. And I'm usually wearing also my frequency activator key, which is from my business. That is like, again, these are just frequencies. This is giving off the frequency of Isis.
Honestly, I'm not big jewelry kind of guy, but that is magnificent. It's like, I don't know, I've not seen anyone wear anything like that. It must be bespoke because I've not seen it anywhere. I love it. It's really like,
well,
wow.
Isis is one of the divine beings that I channel and I work with in bringing forth the new earth divine feminine codes. And she was like, I want to be there today. So I had her. She's actually, I also have right
I
here.
want to be.
Isis as well. This is a symbol of Isis. So she very strongly was wanting to like come and be in. And that's why I had her kind of in the field in the frequency right here. So yeah.
I
And
don't even know where are you? I don't even know where you are. Where are you?
Currently. I'm currently in Bali. Yeah. I've been global. I've been a global citizen since, like I said, like 4 years ago. Again, like I was that stripping away, then being asked to just travel the world and go into these deep immersions. My podcast came out of me being called to just share these deep immersions that I'd be in with medicines, with enlightened masters, to doing all the things and stripping it all away. And then my book came out like a year or so ago, but I bounced all over the world.
Well, what's your book? What's your book called?
My book is called The Awakened Being, Living in Liberation, Abundance, and Bliss Now. And then my podcast is called The Awakened Being, Conversations to Create Change. And it's on all platforms as well. So it was more of a, it's like assignments we're called to do to like expand even ourselves even more and share even more. So now I'm currently in Bali. Yes.
Well, I've had a connection with Bali. Someone knows you. They actually know you because I did 6 months of a group called Wild Men Freedom. Where it was a new sort of thing to me. And it was everything that you like. I'm spiritually minded. Where you're like a super hero of knowing and of speaking it. And so is a guy called Wessel. He knows who you were. He's out in Bali.
Wessel came to my last birthday party. My last birthday.
He's awesome.
Created a beautiful celebration for me, and I didn't know him personally. I knew his beloved was a really good friend, and she messaged my friends, was like, "Is it okay?" Because to bring him because of I'm very much am like sacred about the people in my space, and I did get to meet
just like you,
sweetheart.
He's just like you. He's on the same thing. He's over. He's got something about him that draws you into him, and he's got. He's just got. I can imagine if you were a woman, you'd find him irresistible. He's got this warmth and energy that he transmits, and he's caring, and I'm a spiritually minded person, and everything you say I can resonate with. I couldn't say it as you say it, and I say it differently, and I say it in my dialect, and I'm not as powerful and as you've got a way with words, almost like you're busting. I don't know. You just got something going, and so is he, and it's nice. I enjoy it. I've enjoyed listening because people have not heard this.
Yeah, isn't that the beauty of this? Is the thing is that it's our essence, our vibration, our embodiment of something. So there's a ton of teachers, and right now I believe more than ever is a time where we're not requiring more Instagrammable teachers. We're requiring real, raw, authentic, transparent. I believe in being transparency is the greatest freedom, and that's why I'm like I can be fully expressed because I've done all the inner work to say like. This is who I am. And when I'm vibrating this, you're either going to be like, oh my God, she's way too much for me. I'm running. And that's okay. Or
I don't think that. I think you're just
and I'm drawn in, right? And that's because you resonate with the frequency. But we're vibrating in essence in a frequency, and we come to a certain level of attunement. It's like our auric field, our field of our vibration can reach even further. The Galactics has recently told me that literally within 500 miles of me, my essence is spreading. And like I've had people come into my space and they just start having this healing experience. And they're like, I had this woman a month or two ago, I went to this experience. I didn't know why I was meant to be there. Just like sat down, was like, okay, what am I here for? And she comes over, she's like, I just really am sensitive to energy. And can I sit by you? And and within minutes, she starts having this, she's like, I feel like I'm on a medicine journey. And she's like, I can feel all these things shifting in my system. And she's like, I know it's you. And I was just like, holding the field and knowing it's like Jesus had a vibration,
I totally agree that.
Right.
I totally agree it.
Feel from their frequency of the words that they speak, what they're putting out. So just as you even described Wessel, it's like you could feel that and you're like, there's something about this person. Wow. What is that? What is that frequency? And it's calling us forth. One of the tricks more on the woo-woo mystical side that I teach, because I teach everything from how to, be fully human, because I am fucking human and it's part of my journey, and to alchemize all of my life to have the most glorious human experience is also expand into our remembrance of all of our gifts, our capabilities, and our multidimensional selves. And it was the angel Uratel that taught me how to encode everything I speak, everything I write, everything I put out. Again, everything is intentional for me. It's like I put an energy of unconditional love and acceptance and compassion. And I literally envision this, that we complete projects with ease and grace. It's given to the world with ease and grace. It's received by people with ease and grace. And when they hear it or they see it, literally it's like their hearts feel this frequency and they open up to this feeling of like, oh, what is this? And it calls them forth to go that journey of that it's like, wow, this is available all the time, that this could be my norm, that I can come to a place of absolute love, living in a higher alignment, living in peace. Peace is my highest priority, because if I'm not at peace with something, it's always showing me what gets to be healed and loved, that I can become at peace with it. So anything that's uncomfortable is, again, out of our comfort zone, is just showing us what gets to be alchemized, that then we become comfortable with that. And then we expand our comfort zone. So it's just a beautiful, we're all just playing a game.
Where do I sign up? Because I'm in.
Already doing it. Already here.
Oh, loving this. Yeah, I genuinely get a buzz out of it. But I was excited, like, don't know, I felt your energy without feeling it, because I ain't checked you. I'm gonna be like, I can't wait to look at some of the stuff you've done, and I'll have a look. I'll tell a lie. I did actually check you. I ended up on I checked. When I was on YouTube, I put your thing in, and you were on a podcast with a guy who was absolutely brilliant. And I thought, oh my God, he's like so good a host. And I don't know who it was on, but you had a real good connection with this guy. And it was like, I listened to it for a few minutes, then turned it off because I was getting too much info that I didn't want to have. That's my strange little rule.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, there you go.
So,
yeah.
So I'm interested. I'm interested. I always like to say, like, what if you were going to give someone an introduction? Because I reckon if people have never thought of a line of thought that you've passed today, their minds are going to be a little bit blown. I'm not, because this is what I've been reading into for quite a few years now, and I've become attuned to it, and I'm finding it's helping me in my total journey all the time. So I'm accepting. But someone else, they might think it's a bit mad. I'm not going to, it's like, whoa!
Yeah.
Give them, what book would you say, or something else that they could do that could give them a bit of an introduction? What would help them?
My book.
Of course, God.
I mean, it was an assignment by the divine light beings of like what to give. Because I mean, I have people in my programs. I have a Best Life Tribe community that is very much like, this is the foundational shifting of bringing all things into alignment. Because again, so many things that we're taught, there's not all the gaps aren't filled in, that people are, staying on this hamster wheel. So it's like, if I'm thinking this, but I'm feeling this, it's not in alignment. They're two different things. And we get to bring in every operating system into alignment. And so I was asked to create this book for the masses, for people to have the 5 steps tool that I teach, which is, it was actually downloaded to me when I was going through breast cancer, and I healed myself of breast cancer. And it was like the simple steps of know how to go from what you're unconsciously doing that you're not even aware of, reacting, versus consciously responding, and how to walk through any resistance about anything, and how to move through it consciously, how to reprogram, and how to align to creating something different, creating what you want. And that's this tool that was given to me, and it became a foundational tool. And I mean, I'm happy to give, I have a product on my website called the Quantum Leap Package that we can give all your podcast listeners a code to get for free. And it has my entire program teaching this. This is the 5 steps. It's called the Freedom Activators. And I mean, everyone from my $1 million clients that, again, we're still extremely high level, had done a lot of work, to the everyday person, I'm like, you start with the 5 steps. It literally helps you begin to become conscious and aware and living presently to witness all these things. And people are like, oh my God, I'm doing the 5 steps all the fucking time. And I'm like, wow, yay, you're so aware. And then it becomes you. And it's just how you operate. It's like, now my brain doesn't go, oh no, what if? It goes, ooh, interesting. What else could be possible? And what am I feeling? What is it? It knows how to move through life with ease. So it is, I do have things for the very beginner all the way to very advanced, because I have again, my Best Life Tribe, which gives you all the foundational stuff and, guiding you through aligning all your operating systems, from what are your perceptions, what are your beliefs, your thoughts, your unconscious commitments you're not aware of. And then, if you go to my site, I activations that I've channeled live from, light beings. I have meditations. I have programs on awakened relationships, on money medicine, on all sorts of things that are programs. Each person can go, oh, I'm really struggling with money. How do I lean into that? And how do I alchemize and see what's happening with this idea of abundance that I'm not connected to? And then I have my Align to Manifest mastermind, which is high level, meaning people that have probably been on the spiritual journey for a while, and they're wanting to how do I live in 5D consciousness? How do I activate all of my gifts? And that's why I say there's some of these mystical tools, like one being, like I was saying, how Uratel taught me how to encode everything. Again, because we have this power, this ability, this magic to literally transmit. And then be this huge vibration. Even your frequency waves, I teach a frequency wave that when you align to a frequency for 16 seconds, you blast it out into the field. So there's all these simple tools for us to bring our alignment to that, and then to blast out that vibration. And one I'll just share really quickly is the angels showed me this years ago when it was they showed me this vision of standing above the earth in the cosmos, and seeing concourses of angels and support beings standing there, ready, we're ready. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? It's this is their job. This is what allows them to ascend even more and be, they want to be you. They want your support. It's like you see, think of those, what are those cute little naked baby angels that fly around? They call them cherubims or something, right? It's
they have them in Rome a lot in the pictures on the, right.
On all those things, they showed me this vision of they're literally carrying these buckets of gold above you, and they're just waiting for you to fucking ask, and be in alignment to receive it. And then we make it so hard. And so they were showing me this, first off, they're we always love appreciation. So you give appreciation. So it's appreciating, thank you that you're all here. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for all that you do. And then your request, which I was what I would love, beloveds, is I want you to go find all the individuals that are seeking their freedom, their remembrance, their divinity, seeking to live in love, seeking a greater life, seeking what I teach and deliver. What are those that are looking for exactly what I share? And go find those light beings and just bring them to me. And I saw all the angels just go scatter to the earth, and all these little lights all over the world just come to me. And it's if I'm literally seeing that this is how easy it is. I am infinitely supported by the universe. It doesn't have to be hard. And what I get every single day, we get messages, my team gets messages, I get messages every day of people being I don't know how the fuck I found you. Next thing I knew, you were in my feed, and I was went down this YouTube portal of Marci Matrix. And next thing I know, I'm in your Best Life Tribe, or I bought your money medicine and it changed my life, or, and it's I don't have to do anything. I'm just being the frequency and the essence. And this is why I teach a lot of difference than the normal business, route or systems, et cetera. And that's why I worked with some of the biggest businesses in the world, and some of the highest light leaders was aligning their frequency, their life, the beliefs, their programs, their patterns, their behaviors. They're just being this vibration. And so people are always how did you get these $1 million clients? How did you get da-da-da client? The things that I wasn't even marketing for. I would never had paid ads. It was just some of the $1 million clients I got weren't even on Facebook. All I was doing was sharing on Facebook at the time. And they're how did you do that? And they want a business strategy. And I'm I am the alignment to it. I'm literally just being. So when we're being ourselves again, just you being who you are, someone's whoa. And someone else might be that's
yeah, I get that quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean the Marmite thing? Oh, you don't know what Marmite is? You call it Vegemite.
Have you ever experienced so many clients would be I had so many that would tell me, they're I fucking hated you. You triggered me. Because I'm speaking the truth. And again, if anyone's triggered, it's not really about me. It's just a reflection. I'm a reflection for them of what inside they haven't accepted and loved. So if I'm so fully unapologetically expressed, someone might be wow, she's so expressed. Oh my gosh, I can be expressed. And someone else might be oh my gosh, she's so expressed. Oh, right? I'm just so it's not actually about me. And yet they would be and then I kept listening to you, and I was witnessing the truth of what you're saying and calling themselves on their stuff. And then they fucking love me, and then they become clients, etc. They're oh my gosh, the person speaking the truth. So, it's just being, again, when our path, our purpose is us. is to discover our full divinity, to play in all of our gifts and our expression. I see that as our soul's curriculum for our ascension. Because again, if I don't take that step through that thing that feels uncomfortable and encode in, I am safe to be seen, I'm safe to be expressed, and this is how is anyone going to find me if I'm staying back here going, oh, I just someday when I feel safer to be expressed, and I won't do that yet until I have a website or I have this. These are the human things that get away from even entrepreneurs and in sharing their gifts and their light. So I kind of go the gamut. I'm that's just part of the abilities I have, is I kind of see the whole picture and we just start alchemizing and aligning.
Well, I don't have to question at all where your success has come from at all. I'm not left questioning it. I think you're like, don't know, you're like, I often meet people who I call them the 1% club. They're less than the 1%. They've got something that not everyone else has got, and you've got that, and you're popping it out, and you believe in yourself. When did you start? I'm interested. When did that belief really start? Because I was going to say
that wasn't my natural. That wasn't my natural. You know,
no, that's what I mean. When you know, you might not do time. Was it recent? Was it a long time? Was it a recent thing?
It's been a long time, but it's been layer by layer by layer.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
So many people, and I think this is a misconception in this journey of our awakening, is like, what's that one thing that happened and it's going to have this huge shift? And again, when people start working through my stuff, they're like working on the 5 steps, and they're like, I don't know when it happened, but like now all of a sudden, like, I realize I am fully worthy, and I do believe this, and I am living this. And somewhere along the line, it just happens, because what I am a Jedi at and what I believe in teaching is micro alignment. Again, just like when you catch, I got a buggy that wants to come love on me. When you catch, so you're like, what is she doing? When you catch the little things, like just like when you say mind blown versus mind expanded, when people are like, oh, I'm going to sing this song because you know everyone sings it, but what are we singing? And you know, when we're settling anyway for what we're speaking out, what we're perceiving, etc., it's like those things are what we're asking for in our vibration. So it's like, are you willing to align each aspect into a higher vibration so that you're the embodiment of that? And so when we become the embodiment of it, it's just like, it just becomes so easy. So it really is just our, I was going to say it's not this, oh, this big thing happened. We can have big things happen, you know, that create huge shifts for us. Yet it's in our every single day when people start to become aware of, oh, what's my relationship to relationship? Wow, it's I think relationships are a sacrifice, or they're hard, or they're scary, or wow, interesting. So what are my patterns and behaviors? Oh, what am I thinking about? What am I speaking about it? And we start to micro align. We first touch those things and alchemize them. We get to heal the connections, the feelings. We create new stories. Now I get to implement the new patterns and behaviors, but we're just catching these micro tweaks. That's what the 5 steps really does, is you're catching anytime something doesn't feel good. Because again, if we look at it as your divinity, you're worthy of feeling amazing and bliss and joy and pleasure and peace. That's your norm. Maybe you're not experiencing that, but as we're aligning that becomes our norm, we're catching all these little micro things that we're just, and it makes it so easy. I always say, inch by inch, life is a cinch. Yard by yard, it's hard. When I take it in this moment, just like, let's say someone trying to shed weight or build a body of health, I take it a day at a time. I can believe that I'm stronger every day. But if someone says, I'm 6-pack abs, I'm 6-pack abs, I'm 6-pack abs, and they have 100 pounds to shed, every time they say that, their body's like, bullshit, you were not. Remember all those times you felt that, this and that? And it feels like a massive mountain to climb. But when we just take it, okay, what can I believe? I'm stronger every day. And I'm going to take it this moment at a time, this day at a time. And it's like we're climbing up a mountain, and we look up and we go, wow, I've gone a whole mile. Oh, cool. And I say, I always look the fuck down, take it a step at a time, and then we've evolved more. So it's really the micro alignment. So I'd say I've just become more and more embodied with each layer, with each thing. And I'll give you an example of when I was I first started my first program in gyms, which was a 90-day mind body transformation program. I had put out the vision of having this TV show come just do one segment. On Saturdays, I would do like an open community workout and little mindset coaching that people in my program could, you know, invite their friends, family, anyone could come participate. And I just was like, man, if I just kept feeling this, like getting this vision of like TV. And I'm like, oh, maybe if they just come do one little segment on this community workout, then it could help so many more people that can come. That was my vision. And again, when we move towards it, then the universe brings it in such a bigger aspect. Well, I hadn't even reached to them. I just had this vision. I was seeing like, how else can I support? And they contacted me and said, we've heard about you and your program and the massive changes it's had. They're like, would you come in and talk to us? And they offered me to be their weekly nutrition, fitness, mindset expert. So the day that I got offered this, I go home, go to bed. The next morning, I go to get up out of bed, and I went to step on the ground and literally lost, like I had no ability to put any weight on my right foot. Right foot, mask inside, moving forward in life. The foot is moving forward. Literally, my foot just didn't work. And it's like, I just went to bed. I didn't do anything. So the old program was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? This is how I'm like feeding my children. I'm running my program in gyms where I work people out and I do mindset coaching and all this stuff. And I instantly like ran to the chiropractor. He did a little tweak. And within minutes, again, I left and I had no ability to put any weight on my leg. And I did that a couple of times. I ran back to him and then I was like, wait a minute. It was everything that I was leaning into and learning about. The motions are revealing what's inside. So I, my 5 steps, found out my little girl inside was like, fuck, no, you are not going on TV. Like, no way in hell are we going on TV. Because if we're seen, we're going to be attacked, we're going to be abused, and we're going to die. Those were all the connections. Now you can see from my past experience why that would be. So literally I got to alchemize, like with my little girl inside, to have this like, sweetheart, thank you for letting me know that's what you're thinking, that this is how you think we're going to stay safe. And we witnessed this contract we'd created to stay safe. We'd do anything we could. Hence, through my life, again, it was like fighting my beauty. Like I'd have acne, I'd have, like fight my body, all the things to keep me, I don't want to be seen, to keep me hidden. So going through with her of like, what's actually true now, what we know is true now is when we are in the light is when we're the most safe. When I'm standing in the light is when I attract all those people who are looking for me. It's when I attract my best friends. It's when I attract the clients that are looking for me. It's when we're in the most fun, we're in the most joy. It's when we're doing what we are really here to do. So I had to recode a new story. Then we got to practice. Again, I'm safe to be seen. I'm safe to be expressed. And so the level I'm at now, you can see there's each, it allowed me to move forward and I was on TV, did TV all over for years. I did shows all over the world. I was this, expert on TV for every single week. And that was, again, now I received the next layer. Same thing with my book, same thing with the podcast. Each thing is next layer of, can I, so that's why
totally.
We're always on this ascension. I'm still in this process of how much more can I receive?
Yeah.
And along the way, we're building more, again, of this knowing, this remembrance, and the embodiment of it. But if we don't take that step, then we never actually receive it. And this is the Bass Ackwards stuff about, self-empowerment. That's like, just think it through. It's like, I actually have to like feel it through and operate in these new patterns and behaviors so that I am aligned to this and I can receive even. Yeah.
I like the layers. I'm on my, you look at your own personal thing. You're maybe making me go a new layer because everything I've been learning, I've listened to you, and it's like, it's been really nice. This hour, we're done now, and it's like, wow. I normally like it's just flown. You've really like opened me up, and I'm making everyone else. Well, yeah. So I always intro after it, and you're gonna get a hell of an intro.
Amazing. So glad you
thanks so much, Marci. You've been unbelievably superb, and I imagine you've put some other people on some new layers, and I like that as an analogy that layers are being set, and it's beautiful. So I'm going to end this now, and you stay on, and we'll just have a quick chat after the show. If that's all right.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Yeah.